Yes, I have. I have eaten chicken like numerous times.
Not if you see this.
Yes, I have. Okay. Anyway, okay. I love biographies about musicians, and nobody writes a better one than this guy right here, New York Times bestseller, Charles Cross. Hi, Charles.
Hi, Nancy.
All right, you've written about Led Zeppelin, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, and now you've taken on Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart, and the book is called Kicking and Dreaming, a story of heart, soul, and rock and roll.
And it's a Seattle story.
It's a Seattle story. Okay, so how did this project land on your desk, on your plate?
Well, I've known Ann and Nancy for a while, and you know, known them over the years.
Yeah.
And Ann's a fan of my books, and came to me at one point and said, "We really need a great book written on us. Would you consider it?"
That's flattering.
It was flattering.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially, she's a great reader. She's read every rock book that there is.
So she knows
more about music than you and I and 20 people together.
Well, what made you decide as a writer that you wanted to commit your time and energy to doing this story? Because it takes a lot out of you, so you better really want to write this particular book.
Well, I thought it was an incredible story, and I never had a chance in my writing to tell the story of the female side of rock and roll, what that experience was.
Don't try to tell me the world is changing, heart's getting stupid. Now that is a strange...
What Ann and Nancy did in the 70s, fronting a hard rock band as two women and two sisters, touring with Marshall Tucker and Leonard Skinner. It's an incredible story, and I wanted to tell it.
And they survived it.
They survived it and thrived.
They totally thrived.
And were successful for 4 decades. There's almost not a single other rock band that's still playing today that was in all 4 of those decades making hits. And that's what you can say about Heart.
When you write your books, you don't whitewash the lives of your subjects, which is, of course, why they're interesting books. How did you get them to open up?
Well, I went to them before we began, and I said, you have to be willing to tell all.
Yeah.
And Ann had gotten to a point in her life, she was sober, she'd had kids, as had Nancy, and they had shifted and they wanted to go back and tell these stories. So they were open, they talk about drugs, they talk about sex, they talk about fertility issues. Everything you could imagine is in this book. And many of the things they talk about, they'd never talked about before in public or even with themselves.
Really? Wow. You're a powerful man. So was there a particular moment in the research and the writing that you said, I got it, this book is going to work?
Yeah, I went up to Vancouver with Ann and Nancy. I said, I want to go back to where you guys began.
Yeah.
So I went, just me and them, and we went to this little tiny place in Vancouver where they wrote all the songs on Dreamboat Annie. And we're sitting there and they're pointing it out and they're saying, we wrote that song by this waterfall. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the scene. I have it.
Oh.
I have in my mind what Ann Wilson looked like at 19 years old, sitting here writing a song on a guitar by the water. And then I knew it was going to be a great book.
They've seen it. It's out, obviously. They've read it. What do they think?
They love it.
They like it.
They
They're
like
happy.
it. That's good.
Oh,
that's a good
very
thing.
Good.
Hopefully everyone else will like it as well.
Yeah, yeah. So the response so far has been positive.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe.
People never thought that they were that, I guess, deep to some degree. They didn't know there was that much to the story.
Yeah.
That they were complicated people as they were, and they were.
Well, they're super talented and super foxy as well, I might add.
I got to say, both these women are 2 of the most extraordinary, beautiful women in the world,
Yeah.
but it's a fascinating story to see how they thought they were perceived by other people.
Yeah. Always is interesting, the view of oneself versus the public view. Well, Kicking and Dreaming, a story of heart, soul, and rock and roll is available now in bookstores, online, wherever you want to get your books and you want to pick this up. Charles, thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming by.
Nancy.
Like the orange.
Thank you.
Shoes, very fashionable.
I try to be at all times.
I know, that's your goal.
Below the bridge, the water rolls on by. Trouble's gone and time is on my side.